Hi, my name's Jenny. I'm a U.S. citizen from upstate New York. I'm a patient of Dr. Prasad Bapat. I saw him in Pune, India at Ayurvedic Clinic. I've now been fistula free for 2+ years. I just wanted to give a little bit of my own history before getting into the treatment. I have Crohn's disease. I developed a abscess back in May 2017. My life was very stressful at that point. I was planning my wedding. That was just 2 months away, and the business I worked for was just opening up for the season, so it's always very busy then. I think both things kind of added to the developing of the abscess, especially with my Crohn's history. I've managed to stay off basically all meds for my Crohn's this whole time. I did go on Asacol for a little while, and throughout the process of having the fistula, I've done some antibiotics and prednisone and the usual. But yeah, when I first developed it, my gastroenterologist said it was either a fistula or fissure, and put me on antibiotics and basically sent me on my way. Which it continued to drain and have some discharge, and by that November, I was developing an abscess kind of in my groin area, closer to my vagina. And I went and saw my OBGYN. They recommended an MRI. It was diagnosed as a Bartholomew gland cyst. So, based on that, the MRI was done in January. Within a week of the MRI, the pain behind it was becoming unbearable, and I knew it was going to be bursting soon, and I was going to Florida on vacation, and the day I was going to Florida, I ended up getting into them and knew that it was, going to burst in Florida if I didn't do something about it, and I don't know how I was even going to sit on the plane the whole ride. So my doctor there cut it open, used some Novocaine, which did not work, stitched it with an opening so it could drain, which in hindsight I'm grateful for. And, months later it was still draining. He put me on antibiotics again, which antibiotics kind of always wreck me and my system, but it felt better being draining, so, at least the pain was better in my opinion. And months later, when it was still draining, I went back, and he told me at this point that he thought it was a fistula because of my Crohn's history, and that I should go see a colon rectal surgeon, and who sent me for another MRI. This time they did say it was probable fistula, which at this point, doing my own research, I knew that of course it was a fistula, like, no way it's not. And that was in August 2018, so I wanted it gone. I wanted it cured. I wanted it gone and healed. Like, I didn't want to just mask it or, not live with the symptoms as much. It was interfering with my daily life for sure. The depression that comes with it was getting very real and intense. I was taking daily Epsom salt baths to help it drain and keep the pressure down. I did see my gastro again about it, and 2 different colon rectal surgeons, trying to find some sort of recommendations of what to do, for it that could cure it. Everyone's only options here were to get on biologic medication, which, is meant to suppress your immune system, and their theory behind it and my thinking about it or logic, I just can't, they weren't coming together for me. Like, I couldn't understand how my Crohn's wasn't that bad. I had made a lot of dietary changes, so overall, like, in my opinion, I wasn't that bad aside from the fistula. Like, how is suppressing my immune system gonna heal me? It seems like it could make me more sick. So I didn't want to go that route. They weren't even willing to try surgery on me. One doctor offered to do a exploratory ceton placement, but they claimed because of my Crohn's that I wasn't gonna heal properly, or, I wasn't a good candidate for a fistulotomy or, whatever, surgery. Not that that sounds great either, but I wanted it cured is ultimately, how I saw it. And I'll never forget the day I did my own research on how to treat it and cure it, and, just online all day long trying to figure out, like, there's got to be something else. There's got to, if I have to change my whole life to get this to go away, I'll do anything to change it. At the time, I was only 33. I knew me and my husband want to have children. Like, I did not want to be living my whole life with this going on and constantly needing it to drain and having the pressure build up, and it was just not ideal. So I found Norma and Erica's videos on YouTube, I believe, and I cried multiple times watching different videos that they had made, and it seemed like, oh my God, it's possible. I could possibly, I could do this. I could possibly be like them. I started talking to my husband about it and my family, and, trying to explain to them, like, how this is only done in India, how Kshar sutras, a time-tested technique, and it's an Ayurvedic one, and it can only be done in India. And I actually had my mom watch some of the videos, and eventually everybody, got behind me, and I was going to do it either way. I just, really, my husband was, right from the beginning, knew my quality of life was suffering and wanted it back, and he was willing to come with me and help me and make that journey with me. So I started researching doctors in India. I contacted a few different ones. In contacting Dr. Bapat, there was just a number of reasons why I ended up choosing him as my doctor. I started planning the trip to India. I think I planned it within a few months. It wasn't very long. I had to get the visa and plane tickets and figure out where we're staying and all that. But the Facebook group that I think Norma founded was also very helpful in doing research and planning and seeing other people have experienced it and being able to contact people that have also gone through the same thing. I thought was very helpful. And in November 2018, we landed in Pune, India, and that same day I went and met with Dr. Bapat. Same day we did my blood work. Next day he had the results. Everything was good. We started my treatment the very next day. Got my first thread put in. I did do what's it called? Like a traveler's visa or a tourist visa, I think it's called. So I was only permitted, or we were only permitted to stay in India for 60 days. So I knew, I wanted to move things along. And if we were going to have to leave India and come back, we were going to do that. And, there's ways to do it. But after meeting Dr. Bapat, he really made me feel at ease. He's so calm and caring and takes the time. I'm kind of a nervous person. I come in with a lot of questions and want to understand things. And and he, every week I came back with questions about, treatment and progress and everything, everything and anything. And he always took the time to sit with us and answer all my questions. Every treatment he did with me, you go back for weekly thread changes, and every week he'd walk me through, what I'm going to feel, what he's doing. Just very, I don't know, caring and compassionate, and made me feel less nervous, just his presence and the way he handled everything. I was always grateful, him warning me what I was going to expect, because then I could prepare, or I knew, and sometimes it wasn't, it wasn't bad, and wasn't, like he, warned me this could be where it hurts, and it honestly, my nerves going into it were worse than the actual pain or anything you experienced during it. And every week I went in nervous and not sure what to expect, and but I can't say that there's no pain involved. You are, it is a process and doing stuff, and some days are a little worse than others, but overall, it's amazing how little pain there is. And for what it's doing, you'd think you'd be in so much more pain, and it's incredible. The threads, the stuff that's on the threads, and how that works, and just how it keeps everything draining and clean, and you could literally see it healing from behind. So every week when I get a new thread, like, I could see my progress. It was, great to be able to see. And he did do local anesthesia every week for the thread changes, and that was the best experience I've ever had with it. I still cry or tear up when I go to the dentist and need Novocaine, and this was the best I've had. And Dr. Bapat reassured me every week that that I am healing, that it's, it seems like I'm healing quickly, which was ironic to me, because my doctors here made it seem like I wouldn't be able to heal, and here I am, my body's doing it. I did follow all of Dr. Bapat's recommendations and guidelines, and he does give you some instructions of what to do or what not to do, and, walking is definitely helpful. And every day, normally the day I got the thread change, I wouldn't really walk. You want to sit a lot, create the pressure. And every other day we walked. We did saw local attractions. We just, we walked to dinner a lot. Me and my husband really enjoyed India and loved being there. The weather was gorgeous compared to winter in upstate New York, and it was 80 and sunny every day. It didn't rain a single day. And the people in India are incredible. They're so nice and friendly and helpful, and I can't say enough good things about it. Going in, I was so afraid and so nervous of the unknown, and you're just going to a whole different area and not sure what to expect, and it was such a good experience, especially considering, what I was there for. And me and my husband want to go back someday. The food in India is incredible, like, just the best food. But overall, I was there, we were there for 2 months. I had 5 thread changes. I wanted to stay a few weeks after the thread changes, just so Dr. Bapat could watch me heal. And, I had made quite the investment. I just wanted to make sure it was going to be, everything was good. I wanted an MRI before I left India, just to be sure that, we treated everything. It's all looks good. Which was, got the MRI, had the results the same day for a fraction of the price of what I pay for one here. And yeah, everything was good. We stayed in like 4 different hotels while we were there, because we weren't sure where we were going to want to be. And I did make videos of each one and kind of weekly videos of myself talking about the thread changes, and took tons of pictures. If anybody's interested in any of that stuff, you can reach out to Dr. Bapat, and I'd be happy to send over whatever you're interested in. Let's see, he'll have all my contact info. I overall can't thank Dr. Bapat and my husband enough. My husband was my caregiver almost while I was there, and helped me do some of the wound care, and just being there for me. And then Dr. Bapat, again, calming, reassuring me constantly. I've reached out to him a number of times after the procedure, like, coming home, wanting just, either have a question for him or want to send him progress pictures or whatever it may be. And he's always been, quick to respond. And he's just an amazing man. I keep a picture of us all on our fridge from India. It was, the last of my treatment there. If I could find every doctor similar to him or to be like him, it'd be perfect. Again, it was one of the scariest things I've ever done, making that decision, taking the lunge to go to India, just not knowing what you're in for, how bad it's going to be. I didn't have previous surgeries really on it, so I wasn't, I didn't have that experience. But I would do it all over again. If I ever were to get another fistula, he'd be my first call, and that's what we do. It's a no-brainer to me. So my recommendation to everyone who, is suffering, do your research, save up some money, because you'll need some. I know some people think it's, too expensive or whatever, but healthcare here, at least in the U.S., can be very costly, and especially if you don't end up, year after year, you're spending all this money and you don't end up better. I mean, it adds up. And then take the journey to fistula freedom. It's, it's been incredible. I'm so grateful. At one point didn't feel like I'd get here, and here I am, 2+ years later, still fistula free, no discharge, no pain and swelling, and everything that came along with it. So again, plan your trip to India. And I just want to also add, I'm now, let's see if I can get a nice picture here, 8 months pregnant, so we got a little one on the way that I don't know that we'd be here without the help of Dr. Bapat and, our experience. So, forever grateful. And yeah, if anybody has any questions, I'd love to share my experience or, any part of it. So, feel free to reach out. And again, thank you, Dr. Bapat.